Yeah. Yeah. It's just you and me and the odds. We stuck together with two pieces.
This sounds ridiculous!
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric and I am the tuner here at Proven Power Cycles. Today we have another 2023 GSX-R1000. We've probably done 50 of these things in the last couple of months now. So but today what we figured, now he's going to go through with the full exhaust system. He's got a full Brocks. We'll get the details here in just a minute. I'm pretty sure it's the Penta Carbon exhaust. But we're gonna do that. But the thing that we really kind of wanted to focus on today, because we do a lot of dyno tuning, obviously, but the thing that we wanted to kind of showcase today primarily was we're gonna lower the bike, okay? He wants it lowered about 1.5 inches roughly, right in that range. He's a taller guy, but he told us that he mainly liked the aesthetics of a lowered bike. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of gripe down in the comment section. We do a lot of roll style racing down here. There's a ton of roll racing here in Florida. There's a little bit of road course guys, but where we're located, we deal with a lot of roll racing and a few drag racers, but primarily a lot of street guys and roll race guys. So now he's not doing that. He just likes the aesthetics. He just said, hey man, look, to be honest with you, I like the aesthetics of it being lowered. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lower the bike. You know, at the end of the day, I tell everyone, hey look, it's your bike. Who gives a crap about other people's opinions? It's your bike. Let's set it up the way you like it, okay? I feel like a lot of times people kind of make judgment calls, or they kind of do things to the bike according to what their peers feel like is necessary. So to me, I don't really give a crap. It's more like just enjoy the bike. It's your bike. It's no one else's bike. You enjoy your bike. So anyway, he wants us to lower it, and he did have some questions. For instance, like, what do I have to do to lower this bike? Do I have to change the kickstand? What do I do? So basically, we kind of walked him through all of it, and we told him, yes, you know, you're gonna need a new kickstand. Now, you could cut it. That is a budget-friendly option for some of you out there doing this by yourself. You can cut the kickstand, but the proper way of doing it, honestly, is replacing it. Or some people will cut it and they'll re-weld the foot back on. It's a little sloppy in my opinion. I like a cleaner, like a billet one. So that's usually what we opt for. So we're gonna go ahead and get the Brocks adjustable kickstand on this one. We're gonna get also the Brocks window lowering links for this. And you don't need anything for the front. All you really need to do is just loosen up all the triple trees, and you can drop it on the front. Yeah, so it is the Penta Carbon here. We'll get a little close up here. This is a polished one. So this is a polished style. It still has the carbon tip. Very good looking pipe. It's going to do good on the dyno. We've dynoed these before. They always do pretty good. Really good actually once it's all flashed and tuned. So that's what he opted for, and you know, that's what he bought. So he brought us the Brocks exhaust. So again, we're primarily going to focus this episode on lowering the bike and showing you about lowering it. And we're also going to answer some questions that most people, like kind of common questions, like, you know, oh, if I lower it, can I turn the bike anymore? You know, I've heard if you lower the bike, you can't turn. Yes, you can still turn. Really, from our experiences, I've learned that if you go about 8 or more inches, usually closer to the 10 mark, but 8 or more inches out, and you lower the bike, then you can really start to feel that limitation kind of kicking in. Like you can really feel that the bike doesn't want to lean anymore, that it's a little bit more difficult to get into turns, you know. Again, that's where my personal experience is. But again, at stock wheelbase, you know, with just lowering the bike a little bit at stock wheelbase, trust me, you know, a lot of you guys out there, you're not Rossi, you know, you're not on that level that you really kind of think you are most of the time. So, and same thing with this guy. I said, well, what's your plans with the bike? And he goes, honestly, dude, I'm a street rider. I want something to look good and be pretty fast and sound good and primarily look good, and, you know, all a little street package, if you will. You know, I just wants it to look good and ride good. And I said, all right, then let's do it, you know. So again, you know, we do cater, and we do route people, if you will. We do guide them based on what they want out of the bike. So we don't make you do unnecessary things. We're not trying to get you to spend all your money. What we're trying to do is guide you in the right path and be happy with your bike. So the money you do spend with us, goes in the correct categories to where you're going to be happy at the end of the day, that we're trying to hit all the points to make sure that you're happy and to make sure that the bike is what you are imagining it in your head to be. So we've already started stripping down the plastics. What we're gonna do here in a little bit is now he did decide on lowering the bike and all this basically today as soon as he dropped off the bike. So we do have to order some parts. Obviously, for you guys though, it'll be a quick turnaround, a few seconds. But for us, we got to wait a couple of days. It'll probably take about 2 or 3 days to get the parts in stock. We do have the exhaust in stock, so we are going to remove this AT2 slip-on, this Yoshi AT2 slip-on, and the stock header and all that jazz. We are going to remove all of that and go ahead and install the full Brocks system. Now, just like we do on everything else, and I love doing this, I love showcasing the baseline numbers and comparing them to the to basically the installed numbers of the exhaust, and then comparing that over to the final numbers with it all tuned and everything, and it looking good. So I do enjoy doing that. That's one of my things I do on the channel here. So we're still going to do that for you guys, but again, primarily we are going to focus on lowering this bike and showing you more or less the aesthetics of it lowered versus the stock height that it is here. So normally we have a lot more room in here, but today it's supposed to be raining. We've got about an 80% chance of rain, so typically we kind of keep all the bikes sheltered, keep them in here if the rain chances go up. So but anyway, we wanted to just get you this shot to show you kind of how it looks now, the aesthetics, and then what we'll do is you'll see it on the dyno, but we'll try to hit it here too once we have it all lowered, so you can kind of see how much lower it's going to be, you know, with the lowering kit installed. Now, the issue that we're gonna have, guys, with this stock kickstand, when you lower a bike, a lot of the times, depending on how low you put the bike, let's say it's like 1.5 to 2 inches or so, roughly. If you're gonna lower it 1.5 to 2 inches, I either recommend that you cut these. You'll probably need to cut about 1 inch or so off of this. Or what you're gonna have to do is, what we like to do, we like to order the adjustable kickstand, because sometimes when we lower a bike, the customer is going, man, I love it, but I want it a 1/2 inch lower, or can you raise it up another 1/4 inch or whatever. Some people get very, very particular on how low they exactly want to go. And with that being said, with the adjustable window link and an adjustable kickstand, now you have that option. As you lower and rise the bike, you'll have that option to manipulate the kickstand as well. So that way you can, again, you'll be safe. You're not going to risk tipping over the bike, because trust me, last thing you want to do is have your bike fall over because of a strong gust of wind and it's not leaned over with the kickstand. We've seen it happen before, and we've heard plenty of stories from people who come in who didn't do that and they're regretting it. They hate life, and you know, now they got messed up fairings they got to replace. And the last thing you want to do is replace fairings on a brand new, beautiful bike. So, all right, guys, real quick, I'm gonna try to make this part of it quick because we want to focus on the lowering of this bike primarily. We are going to baseline it though with the stock header and the Yoshi AT2 slip-on. And I just wanted to show this real quick. We still wanted to make this a part of the video because we still are showing the dyno process and the tuning process. But again, want to make this kind of quick. So I'm gonna get the bike warmed up. We're gonna baseline it. We'll get some numbers. We'll show you guys the numbers at the end of the video, the baseline versus all the final numbers, just to kind of consolidate everything. So anyway, we're gonna warm it up and get started. So another thing that we notice a lot on a lot of bikes that come in here, whether it be a cable or a hydro clutch, is the lever is not really in adjustment correctly. So you see how much play we have in here? That's entirely way too much. So something like this, the clutch is going to want to grab super early in your throw because it's not adjusted correctly. It should, basically the clutch should be throwing about halfway through your throw, and then basically release the rest of the way. When it's this loose, this much slop in it, once you have a much shorter window as to when it can actually grab and open up those clutch plates to relieve the clutch. So you're going to run into issues as you go through it. So the rule of thumb is to basically just have enough to where you can fit about a nickel in between your throw, roughly right in here. So you see right there, that is about a nickel right in there. So that's kind of how it should be. So it should throw a little bit later in the process, but that's kind of how you properly adjust the clutch. Again, as per like the service manual. Some people like it a little sloppier. They like it grabbing super early. Other people like it grabbing kind of later. But the tighter you make it, the later it's going to grab, and you don't want it too tight, because then what you'll end up doing is the clutch plates won't fully disengage, and you're going to basically burn or glaze that clutch over. So again, just a little tidbit of knowledge. I hope you guys gained some value out of this. I hope you learned something out of this alone. Now, admittedly, we have been super slammed at the shop, and I did miss part of this when we were lowering it, when the guys were lowering it, I should say. I did miss the installation. However, I just wanted to show you and give you an idea as to kind of how we did it, okay? Here's the rear link. This is the window link, the adjustable link from Brocks. We installed this. We lowered the bike around 1.5 inches or so for the customer. He is a taller guy. He mainly just wants the aesthetics and a lower center of gravity, from what my understanding was. He just said he really mainly liked the aesthetics of the bike. We also installed the new Hitubo steering dampener. Here it is. It goes in the OEM location, and it's pretty cool looking when you're up here and you're kind of looking down. When you're riding the bike, you have a nice, pretty anodized red steering dampener. It's pretty cool, actually. It looks really, really, really clean. We feel like it actually touched on some of the red accents from his levers here, his ASV levers. And you know, and again, some of the little touches of red, it goes really well. We were a little nervous. We mainly wanted the black one, but they didn't have any in stock, and quite honestly, we wanted to keep the project moving, and so did he. He said red looks good, let's go ahead, let's run with it. So now, when you lower the rear, we see this quite often, that people will actually lower the rear of the bike and then they leave the front completely stock, and you end up getting like this weird, like sagging look to the bike. It looks very, very odd when we see that, and it's quite often that it comes through like that. A lot of people don't know, when you lower the rear, you have to also compensate and lower the front. So we did about 1.5 inches on the front here, on both sides. We did about 1.5 inches on the front, and then again we did the window link here on the rear. So guys, to reiterate, when you lower that rear, just make sure that you lower the front with it so that you don't have a very odd geometry going on with the bike. You still need to make sure the geometry is correct, and that's what we do. We measure the front and the rear to confirm that we have the right geometry still for the bike. With that being said, for all you guys out there who are trying to lower it, what you have to do is you have to loosen up the triple tree, the clip-ons, and then you have a lower triple tree that's up underneath here. There's 2 more bolts underneath here. That's the lower tree. So once you loosen all those bolts, now the front end most likely is going to want to slide down on you. So what you're going to have to do is use a jack, or what we sometimes do also is we use a front stand, and we'll push the forks up and down, or we'll use a jack to kind of set our height also. There's many different ways to skin a cat. There's many different ways to lower your bike as far as the routine that you're going to do, the style that you're going to do. There's different ways to do it, but long story short, you want to lower the rear, get the geometry right with the front. So we wanted to touch base on this and really highlight this in this video, because it is kind of common. Like I said, we've seen these issues come up, and we've dealt with them before in the past, and I've kind of notified customers, but I've never really made a video on it and kind of depicting it. We just had a bike in here recently that was like that. Actually, they had the rear slammed and the front was stock height, so the bike's literally sitting like kind of squatted, and it's not a good, again, you don't want the geometry to be like that. It's not good for handling at all. So we're gonna get this thing on the dyno here next. We got the Brocks full exhaust on there, the Penta Carbon. This is the polished one. So he's got a stock chain and sprocket. But again, we're gonna go through that real quick. We won't make that the highlight. We wanted to really highlight and touch base on lowering the bike. If you guys have any questions on lowering a bike, shoot it down in the comments. Ask us what your questions are. We're more than happy to answer them, or shoot us a call at the shop at 727-256-0001. we're going over a GSX-R1000. They are different dog bones. There's different links. There's a bunch of different ones on different bikes as well. Some of them have some of the older GSXRs actually have a dual system set up, and the Hayabusas. They have a dual lowering link set up where you have to kind of evenly lower the bike on left and right side. There's many different forms out there. So again, your bike might be a little different than the GSXR, but again, we haven't done this. We haven't done a video on it. So I figured it'd be a good idea to do a video on showing you a little bit about lowering a bike. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, comment down below. Like, subscribe to the channel real quick, and we're gonna get this thing on the dyno. We got the 2023 GSX-R1000 on the dyno now. We're gonna re-baseline it, and then just like we do with all the other bikes, we're gonna re-baseline it, and then we're gonna obviously tune it. We'll stack all the numbers at the end, final, and then the baseline, just so you guys can see what he's coming in with versus how he's leaving. But again, the main focus that I wanted to show you guys today was just how to lower the bike and the steps and the processes and all that, and give you guys some tips. We always try to give tips in all of our videos now, you know, just to cover something that maybe you didn't know. Also, if you guys could comment down below, let us know if you guys have any tips on lowering it. And you know, we'll go from there and just see. Maybe you guys can help each other out in the comment section. That'd be great. We don't have the plastics on it yet. Usually what we like to do, we like to run it in on the dyno, burn it on the dyno, just make sure that the pipes and everything looks nice and clean while we're dynoing the bike. And when we get done, we dress it all back up. But I think we hit the height level perfect on this thing. I mean, he's got about another 1.5 to 2 inches before he hits the lift. We need to install these rubber stoppers on these. If you don't, just a little tidbit for you guys, if you don't install these rubber stoppers that go here, you will melt the plastics. It's a very common thing on GSX-R1000s with multiple exhaust systems. The fairing likes to sit up against this side right here, and it will melt. Their earlier models, the Brocks earlier models, did not have these tabs because we've melted a couple when they first came out back in 2017. And it's been an ongoing issue. I'm glad that they finally found a resolution for it here. I'm glad they decided to start putting those in. But here's the pipe. Install came out real nice. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking around this long. We have the final numbers here. Now, again, I mainly wanted to make that video, of course, about lowering the bike and just kind of getting the stance and showing you guys a little bit in depth about that and explaining that a little bit. But I just wanted to show the numbers. We do this with every video, so a lot of people I know like this part of it. They enjoy seeing the numbers and they enjoy seeing the differences and what they could expect if they were to do the same type of mods. So here we are. We're just gonna go over the numbers really quickly. We're gonna kind of do a high level on it. So the bike came in on the baseline making 150, we'll say 155. That's about normal. That's what we typically see, anywhere from about 150s, mid 150s to like low 160s on these bikes with 75 foot-pounds of torque. And now that was with the stock header and the Yoshi AT2 slip-on. So not bad at all, honestly. This is actually really good baseline numbers as it is. Very, very healthy motor. It did have very low miles on it. So air fuel ratio is a little jacked up, pretty rich. Overall, it was dumping a ton of fuel in the system. I mean, here we're at 11.0 air fuel basically, 10.9, and up top we're at 12.1. So very, very rich, extremely rich, just dumping fuel into that. And here's how we ended it with the full Brocks exhaust. Now there's no chain and sprocket. This just had the Brocks exhaust, the Brocks full exhaust system. So we were at 182 wheel horsepower with 81 foot-pounds of torque, which is just, honestly, this is outstanding, outstanding numbers. So very excited, very happy with how it came out. Air fuel, very, very flat. We got these bikes pretty much to a science now. Any of these little minute changes, you know, 1 to 2% changes, we usually correct those before we send the bike on its way. We just don't re-dyno it. We try not to abuse the bike. So, and we'll take a top end number here. This is at 13,000 pretty much. We're at 148 to 182. So we saw a gain of, what is that, 34 wheel horsepower? It's pretty massive. Yeah, 34 wheel horsepower, that's a substantial gain. Huge gain. That's what we're seeing out of these things typically. Now this number is a very, very strong number, honestly. This is, we just did a GSX-R1000 with the full Yoshimura AT2 system and with the chain and sprocket kit, a 520 conversion, and it only made about, I wanna say about 180 to 181. And this one made more power with less mods. So very impressive numbers considering we didn't really have a whole lot of mods on the bike. We just had an exhaust. Pretty damn good results considering that. So, but anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a question down below, drop a comment down below. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Without your support, it makes it kind of hard to keep doing these videos. With more support, we can do more cool videos. We got a few really, really cool things coming up that I cannot wait to show you guys. With your support, we are gonna do much bigger, much cooler stuff here in the future and show you way more in-depth stuff, such as built motor type of stuff. So we have things coming and we're doing ported heads on cams, built motor bottom ends, high compression pistons, stroker kits, stuff like that. We have things like that lined up, ready to go. We just gotta get to them. So again, without your support, we wouldn't be doing this. Thank you so much again, and hope you guys stay safe, and thanks for the love. Be safe. See you on another episode.